All right, so today we're going to be looking at Sion Sono's Anti-Porno.
Okay.
You know, I got the screenplay and some background info on the film, and just reading through it honestly left me with a lot more questions than answers.
Oh, really?
It seems like a real puzzle box, kind of layers upon layers to unpack.
Yeah, it's definitely a film that challenges your expectations.
Yeah.
Especially when you consider that it is connected to Nikatsu's Roman porno series. So, you have these like classic erotic films that have artistic aspirations.
Right.
But then you just turn the volume up to 11 on the artistic and way down on the erotic, and you get anti-porno.
So we're already talking about subversion then.
Exactly.
And like right at the center of it all are Kyoko and Noriko.
Right.
These two women locked in this power struggle that like constantly seems to shift.
Yeah.
I mean, Kyoko is introduced as this like successful artist, but she's clearly wrestling with some inner demons, taking it all out on Noriko, her assistant.
Well, and there's this one line from Kyoko in the screenplay that I think captures her inner turmoil perfectly.
Okay.
She says, "I'm a virgin but a whore but a virgin."
Wow.
It's just like she's trapped between these two opposing identities, and the film just constantly blurs those lines between what's real and what's performance.
And that blurring is like everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Kyoko is acting in a porn film within the film, but the abuse she inflicts on Noriko seems to like spill over off camera as well.
Right.
It's like we're never quite sure what's staged and what's genuine.
Well, that's what makes it so thought-provoking.
Yeah.
Is this Sion Sono's way of commenting on power dynamics in the film industry, or maybe even Japanese society as a whole?
It's like he's holding up this mirror and forcing us to ask, like, how complicit are we in these systems? How do we contribute to them, even unknowingly?
Yeah. And then there's Noriko,
right,
who initially appears as this completely subservient figure,
right,
enduring Kyoko's humiliation and even physical abuse.
Yeah, there's that scene where Kyoko repeatedly hits Noriko with her belt.
Right.
And the screenplay describes Noriko as looking ecstatic.
Oh, yeah.
It's disturbing and unsettling. It makes you question the nature of their relationship.
For sure.
You know, that kind of brings to mind the idea of Stockholm Syndrome, where a captive starts to identify with their captor.
Right.
But I have a feeling that Sion Sono is doing something much more complex here.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
As the film progresses, Noriko transforms.
Okay.
It flips the script, and she becomes the dominant one, the abuser, mirroring Kyoko's earlier behavior.
Wow.
It's almost like Sono is exploring the fluidity of power.
Okay.
How it can shift and morph within a relationship.
Yeah.
Especially within these like oppressive structures.
It makes you wonder if like true agency is even possible.
Right.
Within a system that's already rigged against you. I mean, think about Kyoko's monologue, where she declares, "No woman in this nation can master freedom."
Powerful statement.
It's such a powerful statement, almost like a battle cry.
Yeah, and it's a statement that is deeply rooted in the context of Japanese society.
For sure.
I mean, think about the rigid gender roles, the societal pressures, the expectations placed on women.
Right.
It's a lot like the Me Too movement, where women around the world started speaking out against the constraints that they've faced for generations.
Right.
Kyoko's outburst could be seen as her own form of rebellion against those very same constraints.
There's also this recurring image of a lizard trapped in a bottle.
Oh, yeah.
It seems pretty clear that it's supposed to symbolize this feeling of being trapped. But I'm curious to hear your take on it.
It's such a brilliant visual metaphor.
Yeah.
I think it speaks to the character's own sense of confinement, but it also kind of extends to the viewers.
Okay.
Like, we're all trapped in systems and expectations, in our own minds even.
And that feeling of being trapped is like heightened by the way that the film constantly blurs reality and performance. Yes. We're constantly questioning what's real and what's staged.
Yeah, it's like being lost in a labyrinth of mirrors, never quite sure which reflection is your own.
Speaking of blurred lines, there's that incredibly meta scene where Kyoko breaks down and claims that she's just acting in a movie.
Right.
A long, long drama, and that this isn't her real life.
That scene is a masterclass in deconstruction.
Yeah.
Is it a genuine breakdown?
Right.
Is she manipulating Noriko? Or is this a commentary on how we all perform roles in our lives?
Yeah.
It makes you question the nature of identity and the masks we wear.
It's almost like she's saying that we're all actors on a stage playing parts that are written for us, and maybe the only way to find true freedom is to break free from the script.
And that brings us back to the title anti-porno.
Right.
Sion Sono is taking a genre that's known for its exploitation and using it as a tool to critique that very exploitation. He uses shocking imagery and vulgar language.
Yeah.
But it's not meant to titillate.
Right.
It's meant to confront us with the uncomfortable realities of the sex industry.
And the fact that there are no explicit sex scenes in the film further subverts our expectations.
Absolutely. It forces us to engage with the psychological and the emotional dimensions of sexuality and power dynamics rather than just the physical aspects.
It's like he's saying, look beyond the surface. Look at the damage that's being done.
And it's not just about the industry itself.
Right.
He's commenting on a much larger societal issue.
Okay.
The way that women are objectified, commodified, trapped in these cycles of exploitation.
It's fascinating how he manages to weave all these different layers together.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's still so much to unpack here.
Yeah, it's like he's peeled back the layers of this seemingly simple genre and exposed this raw, uncomfortable truth underneath.
And he doesn't shy away from, like, exploring those uncomfortable truths.
Right.
Especially when it comes to how societal expectations kind of intersect with sexuality. There's that scene where Kyoko talks about being troubled as a child by the sounds of her parents having sex.
Oh, wow.
It's like she's internalized these societal norms surrounding sex.
Right.
Even while, like, rebelling against them in these other ways.
That's a really interesting point.
Yeah.
It's like she's caught in this push and pull between societal expectations and her own desires, her own need for freedom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that tension is, like, amplified in the audition scene.
Okay.
Kyoko demands that the actresses applying for the role of a whore be smutty enough.
Wow.
But you can sense that she's projecting her own insecurities and struggles onto them.
Okay.
It's like this disturbing reflection of how the male gaze can warp and distort female identity.
Yeah, it's like she's both a victim of that gaze and someone who perpetuates it.
Right.
Which honestly makes it even more unsettling.
And that feeling of unease is further heightened by the film's visual style.
Okay.
Think about the oversaturated colors.
Yeah.
The almost claustrophobic close-ups on the characters' faces.
Right.
It creates a sense of intense scrutiny, like they're constantly being watched, judged.
There's also that recurring motif of blood, which adds another layer of symbolism.
Right.
It kind of culminates in that shocking scene where Kyoko demands that Noriko slit her wrist and use her blood for a painting.
It's a disturbing image.
Yeah.
But it also speaks to this idea of women being exploited for their bodies and their pain.
Right.
It's such a visceral image, and it's really open to interpretation.
Yeah.
On one hand, it's a commentary on the way women are often expected to bleed for art, to suffer for their beauty.
Right.
But it could also be seen as this, like, twisted expression of Kyoko's own self-destructive tendencies.
And then there's that final haunting question that Kyoko asks, where's my exit? It just hangs in the air unanswered.
Right.
What do you make of it?
That question for me is the heart of the film. It speaks to Kyoko's desperate search for a way out. Out of the gilded cage of her success.
Right.
Out of the societal pressures that bind her. Out of the cycle of exploitation.
Yeah.
But the film doesn't offer any easy answers.
Right.
Which is perhaps the point.
It's like she's trapped in this labyrinth with no clear way out.
Exactly.
Which honestly is a pretty accurate reflection of like the complexities of navigating womanhood in a patriarchal society.
And that ambiguity, that lack of resolution,
Yeah.
is what makes anti-porno such a powerful and thought-provoking film. It forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves,
All right.
about our society, about the very nature of freedom.
Yeah.
It doesn't provide answers, but it sparks these crucial conversations.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener?
Right.
I think this deep dive has kind of highlighted how anti-porno isn't just a film. It's an experience.
It's a film that stays with you long after the credits roll,
Yeah.
prompting you to question your own assumptions, your own place within these systems.
Right.
It's a challenging film, but it's also incredibly rewarding.
It makes you think like, what is my exit?
Right.
How do I break free from the constraints that bind me?
And it's important to remember that this film is part of a larger series.
Okay.
Nikatsu's Roman porno reboot.
Right. This was an attempt to revive a genre
Yeah.
that had its heyday in the 1970s and 80s. These films were known for pushing boundaries, but they were also often exploitative.
So by making anti-porno,
Right.
Sion Sono isn't just commenting on pornography itself, but also on the legacy of this specific genre within Japanese cinema.
Okay.
He's taking a genre known for objectifying women
Right.
and using it as a platform to critique that very objectification.
It's like he's saying we can do better. We can use this medium to challenge the status quo, to
Right.
expose the ugliness, to provoke real change.
And in doing so, he's forcing us to confront this uncomfortable reality that even art can be complicit in perpetuating these harmful power structures.
It's definitely not a film for the faint of heart.
Right.
But for those willing to engage with its complexities, anti porno offers a truly unique
Yes.
and unforgettable cinematic experience.
It's a film that demands to be seen, discussed, and debated.
For sure.
And it's a testament to the power of cinema to provoke, to disturb, and ultimately to illuminate the human condition.
Yeah, it really makes you question everything you thought you knew
Right.
about film, about art, about yourself even.
It really does. And that's the mark of a truly great filmmaker.
Right.
Someone who can push you out of your comfort zone and kind of force you to confront these complexities.
Speaking of pushing boundaries,
Yeah.
Sion Sono has a reputation for being a bit of a provocateur. I mean, this isn't exactly lighthearted popcorn fare.
Yeah, provocation for its own sake can be cheap.
Right.
But Sono's films are anything but. He uses those shocking images and those unsettling narratives as a way to explore these really profound themes
Yeah.
about human nature and societal pressures and the search for meaning.
He's not afraid to get messy, to delve into the darkness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Anti-Porno is a prime example of that.
Yeah.
It's a film that really lingers in your mind, that makes you think, that sparks these conversations.
So if you're looking for a film that will challenge your perceptions, make you think and stay with you long after the credits roll,
Right?
I highly recommend seeking out Anti-Porno. Just be prepared for a wild ride.
And remember, this deep dive is just a starting point.
Right.
There's a whole world of fascinating and challenging stories out there just waiting to be discovered.
Yeah, use this as a jumping off point.
Exactly.
Explore more of Sion Sono's works. Delve deeper into Japanese cinema and art. And who knows, maybe you'll even find your own exit along the way.
That's what we love about these deep dives. Just giving you a taste of something new, something that sparks your curiosity and kind of sends you off on your own intellectual adventures.
Until next time,
Yeah.
keep exploring,
Keep questioning.
keep questioning, and keep diving deep.